Pull those belts tight, put on your helmet, and grab a gear. It's time for another high-speed episode of Race Chaser Media's Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Let's throw the green and send it to the hosts in the studio.
Oh, hi. That's us. That means it's time to talk racing, and I'm glad to be back in the driver's seat because it felt weird not being here the last time.
We have nobody to pick on when you're not here.
That's exactly right.
Gee,
We're so
thanks,
happy
Randy.
you're back.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So happy you're back.
We've totally redesigned all the graphics and everything for the show while you were gone.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Just change
We'll fill you in
around.
during commercial break.
Graphics are fun and nice and all
you're
that.
not going to like this one.
What?
You're not going to like this one.
Oh. Okay. Let's talk about racing. We have news. Actually, there's been lots of news this week. There's been sponsor news. There's been driver news. I can't think of any racetrack news off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
There's probably out there somewhere. I was at Indiana Midget Week last week, and I would love to have a little bit of conversation about that at some point because that was just an experience that I would highly recommend if anybody ever gets the opportunity. And I owe Kirk Spridgen and Levi Jones from USAC a thank you for letting me tag along and race up and down the Hoosier State for 5 days because I enjoyed myself greatly as far as that was concerned.
You didn't race.
No,
You didn't race up and down, but on your foot, yes. On
Well, he
feet,
might
yes,
have
but
done some racing up and
He
down.
may have.
I was on the highway.
Well, I guess that counts.
That kind of counts a little bit, maybe. Something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, your
We
car
don't
looks a
know
little
how
bit like
much
a USAC
racing
midget,
you did,
the way
but-
it is made.
Anyway, we'll get to that. I really do believe that the biggest news of the day that we can talk about on the other side of our first break is Le Gasp. Nationwide go bye-bye at Hendrick.
Yeah, that's a big deal, isn't it, for Alex Bowman? I never get too awfully excited when a sponsor walks away from Hendrick, though, because it seems like Rick's pretty good at finding another one. So,
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like the sky's falling over at Hendrick Motorsports or anything, but
Wait,
nonetheless,
the sky's not falling?
it's not falling. But nonetheless, I think this is going to be a something that obviously is going to occupy some time over there. Now
Oh, for sure. And I loved that Rick said point blank, Alex is going to be a big part of our future. He's committed to Bowman,
Yes.
and I think that says quite a lot about what that young man has accomplished over the first 15 races of this season. We'll talk more about that situation on the other side of this. This is Motorsports Madness. We'll be right back.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
This is Anthony Alfredo, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller on this side of the camera. Chris Murdoch's on the other side, punching buttons and making sure we stay on the air, hopefully for the rest of the night. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Depends how nice you are to Chris.
I'm trying to be nice to him, thanks.
Okay, good. Keep it up.
It's the rest of you that aren't being nice to me.
Why is there a cookie in front of your computer?
Because I got a cookie.
It's tempting, too. Where did it come from?
It's a Jimmy John's cookie.
It's a freaky fast cookie.
Freaky fast cookie.
Yes.
He deserved a cookie for getting here on time. So somebody gave him.
I got you. Okay.
Something like that. Is that how that works? Anyway. Nationwide will depart Hendrick Motorsports at the end of the 2019 season to be replaced by, we don't know yet, but Rick Hendrick has said that Alex Bowman is signed through 2020 and will be a part of the organization's future, end quote. I don't think any of us are surprised that Alex Bowman isn't going anywhere, and to be quite frank, when I really sat down and started looking at the situation of late, when you look at the new management within Nationwide and kind of the shift in their business model, I don't know that we ought to be all that surprised that they're stepping away from motorsports at this point. It's a different vision. You know, the new CEO seems to have a different vision for the company.
Well, and see, you have a lot of companies that have, companies come and companies go.
Yeah.
It's not, everybody makes this out to be, see, NASCAR's dying, it's going away, all these sponsors are leaving. Look, every company goes through cycles. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you get to a point with the marketing strategy that you have where you feel like you've maxed it out and you just can't go any farther down that path, Randy. Like, it's just, and I think in this case, look, Nationwide was with Dale Jr. forever, and I imagine still will be. They're probably still personal services.
They've kept the personal services agreement with Junior.
Which means, by the way, that the sponsorship succeeded because even though they're leaving the team now, it impacted them enough to retain the original driver in that partnership. I look at this like last year Lowe's left Jimmy Johnson, left the 48 team. Mm-hmm. Ally stepped in. Okay, the team's still existing. It didn't make any difference in the performance, you know. So the beautiful thing that Rick Hendrick has going for him is that he's got a bunch of car dealerships. He's got 4 teams. He's got plenty of assets in which to leverage sponsorship from. So,
well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, Nationwide hasn't really been a big part of this. I mean, I think I've seen Exalta on the car more this year than Nationwide.
No, that's not correct. Nationwide has been the primary for 10 of the first 15 races this year, and they have 10 races to go.
If you look at it, Nationwide as a whole has cut back on some of their promotional stuff. I don't see nearly as many advertising commercials for Nationwide as I have, say last year. So I don't think it has anything to do with Bowman's performance because it can't.
No.
I mean, he finished second 3 consecutive times.
Heck no.
In a row. I think it's just them going in a different marketing strategy, and NASCAR's not in that strategy.
They were happy enough with Alex Bowman's performance last year to come back this year. They renewed the contract for a year because of Bowman. They like Alex Bowman. This is not about Alex Bowman. It's about a business decision that they wanted to take their marketing in a different direction.
Right.
And, again, we've seen sponsors come, we've seen sponsors go. I'm not at all worried about this in terms of the future at Hendrick Motorsports because Rick will go and find another sponsor. It may be a combination of sponsors. That's also not a bad thing.
Right. Well, and just think about it. How many other car insurance companies there are out there? I mean, before Nationwide, it was Farmers with Casey Kane, and then Nationwide came on board. So I'm not going to say they're going to switch out but there's multiple. I mean, like Tom said, he's got millions upon millions of car dealerships. That's an over-exaggeration, by the way. But I mean, still,
he's got many.
He can substitute out whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, my point with that was he can leverage the car dealerships in a lot of ways. That's kind of, the whole Liberty University connection, even with William Byron, also involves his dealerships because Liberty's got a program now that trains sales and finance people to work in dealerships.
Right.
Well, guess what? Rick Hendrick owns dealerships. So
it's all about business to business.
Exactly. And again, there's not a thing wrong with that. That's whatever you have to do. In order
is
to
built on B2B sponsorship.
That's exactly right. That's B2B is a much bigger thing now than it was 10, 15 years ago. B2C is still important, but B2B, business to business, is far more important, I think, right now in the sport. And Rick's got a lot of, like I said, he's got a lot of ways to help companies. So, I don't think it's going to be too hard to find enough in terms of replacement resources to be able to carry that team on just fine.
Well, Nationwide was put into a pretty, crazy predicament at the end of a couple of years ago when Junior, decided to retire because they were like, we put all this money into this team, what are we going to do? I'm sure that Hendrick went to them and said, hey, this is our driver. What do you guys think about Bowman?
Actually, I think Junior went to them and said, this is the guy we
either
need.
way, the team went to the sponsor and said, this is who we want. So it's not like they just was like, Bowman's our driver, take it or leave it. So, and Bowman's performance, like Chris said, that's not the reason why they're leaving. I mean, teams, sponsors go through this all the time. And, just like Chris said, who wants to say that, Geico, who is on the Germain car, can't say, we're not getting enough bang for our buck, but they need a sponsor, so let's put our money over there. I mean, how many times have we seen teams switch sponsors,
absolutely,
and go to another team where they think they're going to get more value for their money? Yes, it takes a lot of money to sponsor a team, especially when you get up into the Hendricks and the Gibbs and those teams, because those guys require millions and millions of dollars a year in sponsorship.
It would cost Geico more money to go to Hendrick,
but you would get a better spotlight.
Right, they see it as a bigger investment. And that's not to say that I don't think Geico would ever leave Germain, honestly.
I was just using it,
but
as
I
an
understand
example,
what you're saying, and that's exactly right. And right now, Bowman is on an upswing. I mean, he's had 3 seconds in a row and has run well in every race since the last weekend off that we had.
I know you don't like me throwing out numbers, but I am going to throw out a couple numbers that I think are relevant to the discussion. Over the past 6 races, which includes Bowman's run of 3 second-place finishes in a row, he's catapulted from 21st in points and well outside the playoff grid to 10th.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying.
That ought to tell you the kind of run they're on right now, and he is very solidly on the playoff grid. I'm trying to do math here. More than a race to the good now. And, oh, by the way, his 7-time championship-winning teammate is the bubble guy. Stop and think about that.
So Johnson's 16th right now?
Yes.
Cut off? Yeah.
Well, how much
even
money,
with 6 top 10 finishes, he's 16th.
How much money did Nationwide spend when they were the title sponsor for Xfinity?
Probably
a lot of, you know what I mean?
Probably a lot.
Where they scaled back because of the money that they spent to be the parent, whatever, sponsor for Xfinity, and now they're still in a situation where they're like, you know what, this is costing us way more money than we're getting our,
Well, again, I don't know that it's a bang for the buck situation. I think it probably is more of it's just time to try a different approach.
Right.
Target did the same thing a couple of years ago because they thought that soccer was a better investment for them, so that's where they went.
They were trying to partner their marketing with their clientele, basically.
And that's, again, we don't, you got to be careful to not always rush to, they didn't think they were getting enough value or they weren't happy with the driver, whatever. It's not any of that necessarily. It could just simply be that, as Jacob said, the new CEO has a different vision, maybe wants to go after a different market demographic than what NASCAR has.
Yeah.
So,
I
agree. I think life will be fine at Hendrick.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it. So
I think actually now Alex Bowman would be more in demand than he was a year ago because his performance, like I said, is on the upswing. So
you would think.
I don't think he'll have any trouble.
No, I don't think so either. In fact, I think Bowman's trajectory is still coming upward, and I'm not convinced he won't manage to pull out a victory before the playoffs.
Well, I believe he does. I think he wins his way in. Yep.
We got 11 races to go. He sits solidly in the top 10, and as Tom said, we like his odds. So with that, we're going to step aside, and when we continue this show, more Motorsports Madness. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schubert helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Valero fireproof underwear, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the staff at HMS is always ready to take the time and help you find the right product for your specific safety needs. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Just stop in to HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a message on Facebook. Tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller.
Do we need to get a defibrillator just in case you choke on the cookie?
I was going to say,
No.
would you like Randy and I to carry on while you finish your cookie there, Cookie Monster?
Speaking of Noah Gregson, did you guys know he tried coffee for the first time today?
What?
Yes. He said Justin Allgaier made him try coffee for the first time, and now he's shaking violently and doesn't know what to do. He posted it on Twitter.
Justin made him
try coffee, and now he has the shakes.
So he tied him up,
I have to
gagged
see
and
this.
bound him, and made him try coffee.
He posted it on Twitter right before we came on the air, I believe.
And Noah says in response, I am bouncing off the walls right now. Justin Allgaier made me drink coffee for the first time today. My hands are shaking.
The last thing that boy needs is coffee.
I would love to be a fly on the wall at Junior Motorsports today.
Oh, my gosh.
See that happen and go down.
And I must say, our PMN Radio colleague, Joe Chisholm Jr. from Race Time Radio says, and I
One of my
quote,
favorite shows.
Yes, you on caffeine, I feel bad for Brandon McReynolds and the Junior Motorsports guys. It'll basically be like herding a scared cat or trying to catch a greased piglet in the rain.
That's great.
Oh,
That's
stuff.
great.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Poor Noah.
Herding a scared cat.
I can't even imagine. Anyway.
Bad idea, little gator.
Oh. Bad idea, great hilarity, though.
Great hilarity, but
That might
bad
make
idea.
him run faster when Justin gets around him on the racetrack, because he'll be scared to death that he might try to do something to him now. So he'll just run a little faster now when Justin comes around.
Something like that. We haven't even talked about the racing that happened yet. Gosh.
There was racing?
I know there was racing, actually, over the weekend, or rather at the beginning of the week, because,
well, some of it was
It only
over the
happened a
weekend.
couple of days ago. It's still occurring.
Only the Cup race was
the Cup
beginning
race.
of the
The
week.
Cup race was rain postponed to Monday.
Yes.
Monday. Sorry, I wanted to do the echo thing. And Joey Logano.
If you're going to do that right, it's Monday.
But yes, but if it's Monday, you have to be a little bit more or less down
Or if
tone.
you want to be all, 60s about it, it's Monday.
Please don't do that again.
We're trying to keep him from choking on his cookie, not make him choke on his cookie.
Thank you.
His cookie's gone.
Anyway.
No, it's not. He's
No,
still
it's
got some in
not.
his
There's
mouth.
still a piece here.
He's hiding.
He's not freaky fast like he should be.
Case in point, Joey Logano dominated a
He's
race
freaky.
at Michigan. And by the way, there's a pattern here. 2013, Joey Logano wins from the pole at Michigan. 2016, Joey Logano wins from the pole at Michigan. 2019, Joey Logano wins from the pole at Michigan.
Can I take a
Calling
guess?
it now.
2022,
Joey Logano wins from the pole at
Michigan.
Michigan. And that makes it even better because hopefully he's still driving the double deuce.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
that.
I need to write that down for my fantasy team when I actually start fantasy NASCAR in 2022.
You go put it on the mark it on your calendar.
Anyway, this race was heralded as one that should be a really good showcase of the 2019 package. No, it wasn't. Joey led 163 of 203 laps. Please, somebody enlighten me to how this is exciting.
Well, I don't know. I think I don't know that it says anything about the package. You can have any race where one car just gets hooked up and just checks out. I mean, it's a good thing for the rest of the field that on Friday night, Tyler Ankrum did a slide for life down pit road and lost 4 laps because otherwise he'd have probably lapped the field 4 times. I mean, that truck was a rocket, but it just didn't materialize because he got down and had to make up ground.
Yeah.
But he should have won that race convincingly too. So I think the idea that somebody like Joey would have the hot setup and lead a bunch of laps, when you don't get a lot of caution flags, the stats look more lopsided than it actually is. I don't feel like Joey was so dominant that nobody could see the back bumper of his car for the whole
Harvick did for
163
a
laps.
bit.
Kevin was definitely fast. I mean, I think it came down to a late race restart, and you had 2-3 guys that I thought had a shot at passing Joey, and Joey got off to a good restart. He did not jump the start. He did not do anything illegal.
That's not even a debate anymore because NASCAR said no.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even an issue. He just got a good restart and was able to finish it out. But I don't feel like Joey Logano was so dominant that nobody else had a chance.
And Penske in general are just really good at those type of tracks that are banked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you look at them at Auto Club and all sorts of that, those have similar characteristics in terms of banking in the corners, and they're good there.
And, oh, by the way, Roger was the mastermind that controlled Michigan and Fontana for years.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with necessarily with performance. I mean, we've seen a lot of drivers in the past that have done well at Michigan that weren't Penske cars. So, but I think this was just Joey's day. I thought overall it was a pretty good race. It's just Joey was good enough to stay out front and and lead a majority of the laps. And get the win, and good on him. I mean, Michigan's a big deal for the Cuppers because it's a manufacturer's thing.
It is, and Ford keeps the Manufacturers' Cup in Michigan, in Detroit, for the third straight race.
Yep.
There's a lot of pride on the line for the manufacturers when it comes to racing at Michigan.
Yep.
Now,
yes.
When you look down this list, though, yes, okay, so we've talked about Joey Logano dominating the day. Kurt Busch finishing second after a late shove from Martin Truex Jr. to have a shot at it before the overtime restart. But Kurt finishing second.
Another lap to go, and he probably could have won that race because he was catching Joey Logano.
That's what I'm saying. They all had a shot, but the
restart, would have been talking about a whole different finish.
If he would have had help from behind on the restart, he would have gotten to Joey Logano.
Yeah, Joey got such a great restart, though, that I don't think help would have done him any good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was gone.
I mean, but stop and consider this, though. Kurt Busch is off to a pretty rocking start with Chip Ganassi Racing this year. Stop and consider that a year ago, even though he had 22 top 10s in 36 races, he only had 6 top 5 finishes. In 15 races already this year, Kurt has 4 top 5 finishes and 9 top 10s. I mean, he is projecting... even though the starting position doesn't show it, he was a better qualifier last year at Stewart-Haas. But the finishing position is nearly 3 spots better right now with Ganassi in that one car than it was last year in the 41 with Stewart-Haas. I mean, this is a rejuvenated Kurt Busch, and it's been really refreshing to see him find success. Interesting to see his former ride find success with Daniel Suarez, who had a really nice run to go 4th on Monday afternoon, and even Ryan Newman had a good day in 8th with the Roush car.
Well, and there again, you look at drivers like Newman, you look at Kurt Busch. I mean, I think those two in specificity are examples of teams that benefited from this new package.
Definitely.
Stewart-Haas is over so far.
Yeah.
Now,
everybody except Gibbs, Penske, and one lonely Hendrick win is over right now.
Well, yeah, but my point is, when you say, well, Kurt Busch qualified better last year, but racing better this year, I think that's solely the package. And it isn't that Stewart-Haas is far off. They're just not as unbeatable as they were last year. It was, all of those cars, a lot of Kurt's results weren't because Kurt didn't run well or have good speed in a race. They were because either A, he got into an accident he didn't cause, or B, the car broke, or C, he finished 6th or 7th, and the 5 cars or 6 cars ahead of him are all great cars. I mean, that's Cup for you. You can have a year where you can barely finish in the top 5, and it doesn't necessarily equate to it being a bad year because there's 12 to 15 really good cars that can run in the top 15 spots on any given day. And so if you're a little off, you're 12th.
Right.
Kurt was the only bright spot for Chevrolet for the first 6 races of the season because he was the only Chevrolet in the top 10, I think, for the first 3 or 4 or 5 races of the season.
Well, look at who the 2 Chevrolets in the top 10 were on Monday. It was Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman.
Yeah.
So it's always one Hendrick car and Kurt, usually.
Right, usually. Now, I got to give credit where credit's due here. The 8 car finally had a good run with Daniel Hemrick and ran decently all day and finished 12th, which for that team, after all the bad luck they've had, ought to be celebrated.
Well, I agree with you, and Austin Dillon won a stage.
He did.
So, again,
there was a little bit of strategy involved in that, and he ended up a lap down, but he won a stage.
Strategy's part of it. And, So Chevrolet is starting to get its act together, I think.
Yes, I hope so.
And again, we knew that somebody was going to hit this package first.
Gibbs and Penske have certainly done that.
They have, but it's not as if the Ganassis and the Roush's of the world haven't increased their performance.
Right.
But I think we can start drawing some conclusions. And I think one of the conclusions I draw at this point in the season is that Kyle Larson is driving like a guy who really is trying to play his way back into sprint cars. I don't think Kyle is... I don't think he's running well. I don't think the team is working well together. There is something with that 42 team that's off.
I don't think Kyle's motivated enough. I think he's kind of burnt out.
I don't know.
It's not a driver's package. I mean, as Kyle and Kyle Busch have both said at times, it doesn't take skill to mat the throttle wide open and turn in circles.
Well,
for 3
if that's
hours.
the case, and since Kyle Larson's familiar with that in the sprint car, Larson ought to be winning every week. And he can't get out of his own way right now.
I told you to put a sprint car wing on the top of the car, and he would be riding home.
So
something like that.
Something's got to give with the 42 team.
We're going to take a break. When we continue, more Motorsports Madness right after this.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend
Carolina School of Broadcasting.
The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider Complete Motorcycle Air Suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider Air Shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider Motorcycle Air Suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jesse Love, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Why do I have to push your button? I'm pushing your buttons, Jacob.
Because I was trying to find a charger for that thing, because otherwise somebody's going to have to loan me their little timer thing before we're done here, and I couldn't find one.
The sundial. Anyway, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
You're
back
supposed
to
to be freaky
Motorsports
fast.
Madness.
You weren't even fast enough to make
Motorsports
it back in
Madness,
here.
by the way, is presented by mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life.
We need a phone charger sponsor.
Yeah. I actually know of one that I could pitch. Come to think of it, I'll get to that later in the show. Tom, do you just want to do the whole plug now while we have a chance?
Well, we can talk about My Computer Career if you'd like.
You did a good segue there. We may as well.
Well, it's fun to talk about My Computer Career because My Computer Career changes lives. My Computer Career is training for a better life, and here's what I mean when I say that. It's very often that we look for a change of career. We look for something different to do, something that could motivate us again, something that could spark a new chapter in our lives, or maybe we just want something different to do. My Computer Career could be that difference. All you have to do is go to mycomputercareer.edu, take the free career evaluation test. Costs you a few minutes of your time, that's all. If you feel like IT is a potential career for you, then talk to the folks at My Computer Career. If you decide to pursue a degree and a certificate, when you're done with your training, which can be in as little as 4 months, not even full-time, just a few days a week, either online or at one of the campuses across the country, then My Computer Career will help you. They talk to hundreds of employers and work to place you with one of those employers. There's over 2 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs right now in the United States. My Computer Career is a great way to put yourself on a path to fill one of those jobs and have a rewarding new career. They do have financial aid available, including the GI Bill. And as I said, they do work with hundreds of employers. So from beginning to end, the folks at My Computer Career can walk you through this process. And in as little as 4 months, you can be on to your new career. If you're not good at math or science, it's okay. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life. And yes, they are a proud supporter of what we do here at Race Chaser Media, and we are proud to have them as well.
Now, shall we talk some Xfinity racing?
Whatever you'd like.
All right. I guess I do get to drive the boat, don't I?
Absolutely.
So, how about last year we had the big three in the Cup Series. This year we have the big three in the Xfinity Series.
Yes.
Because we now have Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, and Christopher Bell all with 3 wins apiece in the first 13 races of the season, and Tyler Reddick stole one that maybe he shouldn't have, but he did, on a great fuel mileage gamble Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and again, this is, when you look at Tyler Reddick's season, this is a season where we're seeing a championship driver emerge. Okay, I know he won last year's Xfinity Championship. He won Homestead. He did not have a championship season last year at all. He was, in my opinion, third out of the 4 junior motorsports cars in performance most of the year. But he got himself to the playoffs and did what the playoffs demanded of him to get to Homestead.
Stepped up to another level.
And when he got to Homestead, he simply kicked their ass, okay? And so he showed up when he needed to. And he went into this year, I think, with a new attitude because of that race. And he's come out of the box like his hair was on fire. And it doesn't matter if he's running Xfinity or Cup for RCR. Tyler Reddick is a top 10 or better driver right now in everything.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference. And that's why I say we're watching the evolving, the emergence of a championship race car driver right now. And that young man, if he gets to Homestead, and it seems likely he will, I mean, a championship, you got to go through him to win the title. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
And he needs to be in Cup next year.
Well, Richard Childress has basically implied that's the plan right now.
That's
Whether
good.
it's the 31 car or another number, he's basically said that's the plan.
No matter what number you're
without actually saying it. I mean, look at what he's got in the regular season right now. He's got an 89-point lead over Christopher Bell.
Which is amazing, honestly.
That is more than one race in points. It's ridiculous.
I mean, we have the big three, but really, Randy, Tyler Reddick is the big one.
Yeah, he's definitely the number one guy right now. And we've been talking for the last several weeks about how cool it would be for him to go out and win this championship with a whole other different organization than he did last year, because that would prove that obviously equipment doesn't mean anything. Because I know last year when he won the title with Junior Motorsports, everybody's like, oh, he only won because he's in junior equipment, and junior equipment is the best in the business or whatever. This year, RCR is not their equipment is better this year by far. I mean, obviously Tyler has been dominant, but they're being competitive with all the other guys, like, with all the JGR cars and even the Junior Motorsports cars who aren't as fast, I don't feel like, as they were last year, and he's still kicking butt and taking aim. So if he goes out there and wins another championship with a different organization, it'd be like, look, I won two in a row with two different organizations.
Jacob, I don't know if the RCR equipment, I don't know if Tyler's equipment's better. I think what's happened is Junior Motorsports is off about that much as a group.
Yeah.
Okay, and JGR, Chris Bell continues to be the great unknown. 1 week he's unbeatable, and the next week,
Right.
And so I
Bell
think
has led the most laps this year.
The one thing that we can say about RCR as a group over the last 2 or 3 years in Xfinity is they were consistent.
Yes.
And Tyler Reddick has come in and taken Daniel Hemmerich's consistent second, third, fourth, second, third, fourth, fifth,
and
second,
into wins.
and just turned it into wins.
Well, and
I think that's the difference.
It helps when you downsize from 5 cars to 1.
Right.
Well,
that's what I was going to say too.
It allows you to put all your focus on one car. And stop and consider, this is how ridiculous Tyler Reddick's season has been this year. You thought Kyle Busch's season on the Cup side for the first 11 races was ridiculous? Tyler Reddick, in 13 races this year, has 11 top 5 finishes. His average finish is 3.9.
Yep.
The next best of anybody in the entire series is Austin Cindric at 8.1, and he's 4th in points without a win this year.
Well,
that's how good that 2 car is.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if he starts in the front or he starts in the back. We watched him a couple weeks ago, I think it was in Pocono, come from the back to the front in the first stage and finish second. He almost won the first stage from the back of the field. That's how good that car has been. So, I think Tyler Reddick is establishing himself as a future star in the Cup Series. And,
for sure,
the move that he made to RCR was a brilliant stroke of genius on his part. Because
it was.
I think, and he's helped that whole organization, and I love it because Richard Childress deserves some success, and I'm happy to see that Tyler's giving that to him on the Xfinity side.
I also slightly lied with my numbers. I said Austin Cindric was second best at 8.1. And this goes to show his personality makes him easy to overlook. Sorry, Chase. Briscoe actually has an average finish of 7.7 this year.
Well, but that isn't a whole lot better.
No, it's not.
And it's still 4.
But I would argue both of those Ford drivers have been pretty overlooked this year for how solid their seasons have been. Both have had 10 top 10s in the first 13 races.
It's easy to overlook, though, when the dominant, the dominant headline is Reddick,
Bell, and Custer.
I was going to say, again, you've got the big 3. And, Cindric is the next guy, I think.
I think so, too.
I think when Austin finally wins, and I do believe he does that this year.
He will.
He'll win multiple.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. I think it's just, about opening the floodgates.
He's got to get that first one. You know? I mean, it's just once you get the first, then never again are you frustrated because you can't get the first.
It's the Alex Bowman syndrome.
It is.
Alex is going to be the same way. When he wins one, he'll win multiple.
I agree.
Also, by the way, I'm struggling to look at the Xfinity standings and process in my brain that Ross Chastain's now declared for Truck Series points. That I know that decision's about a week old, but
you haven't been here, so it's new to us or new to you.
Yeah, it's not necessarily new to me.
New to him on the show.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those.
We can talk about it.
The hard part is, though, with Ross is he's only got 8 races to win a race and get inside the top 20 in points in the Truck Series, which is so frustrating.
Well, getting inside the top 20 is nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
winning another race is going to be the hard part.
Well, he made a heck of a run at Texas, first race out of the box. Now, what's interesting is that he's in different trucks throughout the rest of the year. Depending on the races, he's in the 44 this week.
I would argue he's in different vinyl.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying the point I was going to make. So if you're a race fan, you're going to have a scorecard to keep track of the truck number that Ross is driving, but it's all going to be the same equipment. And Ross is going to be racing for wins all season long, and I do believe he'll get another win before the playoffs and put himself in.
And I feel like if he gets the win, he'll automatically be top 20 in points.
Well, he will. I think
what I mean?
Chris did some figuring the other day and told us that.
Yeah, well, stop and consider one race in, he's already scored enough points to get up to 35th.
Yeah.
And the difference between him and Anthony Alfredo, who's not even running a full-time schedule, in 20th is a whopping 64 points.
So 2 races, basically. A race and a half.
A race and a half. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if he goes out and has a perfect race, he's basically there.
Yep.
So. Yeah, let's make sure we talk some trucks before we're done. Because let's go back to Xfinity so we don't get sidetracked. But
no, we need to
talk about the big 3. We talked about 1. So
yeah, we did.
Let's talk about the other 2.
Well, I mean, Christopher Bell is the curious case, isn't it? Because the other 2 of the big 3 dominated this race at Michigan, and yet they got burned on strategy. Reddick pitted when those 2 stayed out. The whole code word snafu thing on Bell's side, and Custer was told do whatever Bell does. So when Christopher screwed up his code words, Cole Custer got hung out to dry right along with him.
That's why you don't listen to everybody else.
Well, I was going to say, and he had no idea that he was going to screw up, the other driver, right? But that's the unintended side consequence of, like you said, playing follow the leader,
Right.
But, I feel like Christopher Bell is, he for the last 2 years, it's feast or famine. He's either totally locked in and dominating or, he crashes or something happens or whatever. But I don't feel like his performance has been because he can't win a bunch or wouldn't win a bunch.
I was going to say he won 7 times last
Which
year.
is exactly what I said before the season he would do. So he got me 7 wins. But he also just had 7 or 8 races where it's like, what happened? So I feel like it's kind of a feast or famine with him. Yeah. And really with Custer, I just feel like some of it's been wrong place, wrong time, and just situational things. He's been fast, and I still think he and Reddick are really the 2 that I look at for the championship right now anyway.
I don't think that Christopher Bell has gotten any worse. I just think that Reddick and Custer have gotten better.
Yes.
Maybe, but it's the consistency thing with Bell that hurts him, though.
His performance hasn't dropped off at all. They've just gotten so much better that he makes him look like he's not cutting the mustard this year.
They've become more consistent, and he hasn't.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly
I would agree with that statement. Yeah. Absolutely. Quick notes from the Xfinity Series. Michael Annett, 3rd. He finally looked like something for maybe the first time since Daytona.
Yep.
Paul Menard on the pole, finished 4th. Really dominated the race, led 56 laps.
His car hurt my eyes.
Yeah, it always does. I'm just glad he didn't win because it's a Cup driver in Xfinity.
Yes.
Just saying. Sorry, Paul. We're going to take a break, and when we return, well, you never know quite what we'll get into, but we're going to get to some trucks here at some point because, well, there's a catchphrase I need to utter on this airwaves. We'll be back with more right after this.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family-owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up! You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses. Because it's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Riley Herbst, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Actually, that's appropriate. Riley's bringing us back from break, and he's not racing the ARCA car this weekend for Joe Gibbs Racing, but it's an excuse to talk about ARCA in this short segment because it's the ARCA Championship points battle that nobody wants to win because Michael Self got penalized again.
Well, I mean, and it's just been one of those ARCA seasons, hasn't it? I mean,
it's been wonky or hinky, as some people might say.
Just silly is what I call it. I mean, there aren't a ton of full-time cars to begin with that are super competitive, but there are just enough so that, and they've each had their share of bad luck, misfortune, whatever you want to call it. You know, and again, like you said, Michael Self getting penalized again.
Yes.
It's like, guys.
To recap,
you know,
by the way,
doing?
Michael has been penalized in post-race inspection twice this year.
Yeah.
This was an unapproved body modification during the Michigan event. 50 points deducted. He's now leading by 15 over Brett Holmes in the championship. The top 5 are separated by 125, which is less than one race.
Yeah.
This in a season where Brett Holmes has top 10'd him to death. Michael's had 2 points penalties. Christian Eckes missed a race because of food poisoning, and Travis Braden has been consistently inconsistent.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's been a silly kind of season. It's like you said, it's the title that nobody seems to want to win. You know, and honestly, the ARCA race on Friday, in my opinion, was pathetically bad. I mean,
bad.
There were less than 20 cars in the first place,
which is painful.
But it's also telling. But it was just a horrible race. It was completely uncompetitive. It reminded me of a Formula One race. It was basically a parade. And you know, Michael Self was by far and away the car to beat. But it's like, guys, you got to get your act together here, because this is a driver who needs a championship, because he needs anything good he can get on his resume for somebody to actually go, hey, why don't we put him in our car?
Right.
You know,
we're going to step aside and take a break. When we return, more Motorsports Madness.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of Internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider, complete motorcycle air suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider air shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider motorcycle air suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Sure. There we go.
Hey.
I suddenly can hear myself again. Not to say that I want to, but
Chris.
Be ready for the challenges tomorrow.
This partial commercial brought to you by.
In the middle of a sentence, and now the whole show is just going off the track.
This portion.
Okay,
this portion of our show brought to you by Pepto No Dose.
I will tell you
the only solution for sleepy, upset stomachs.
Our
and now
stomach
back
is
to the show.
Freaking out right
Yeah,
now.
no kidding. So we're going to try this again. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller, Chris Murdoch is behind the glass.
Causing all kinds of mayhem.
I could be gone.
Hey, listen, if you pull another stunt like you just tried to pull, I'll fire you and produce the rest of the show myself.
No, you won't.
If this Titanic is sinking, I'm going out that door. Because I'm the closest one to the door,
right.
so I'll be gone in no time. I'll just slowly move myself out of camera view.
I'm gone. I can't swim well.
I'm out.
Oh, boy. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, this is the second half of our show.
Madness.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
mad, all
descended
right.
into the madness.
Yes.
And if you missed the first half of our show, we talked about a bunch of NASCAR stuff, and we didn't even get into the truck side, which is what we're going to get into here coming up in the next couple of minutes. And Chris is trying to give me a clock that he doesn't realize I'm going to completely ignore, so as to fix this later. You'll figure it out. Just roll with it. Anyway, yeah, we haven't even gotten to talk about trucks yet, and my favorite catchphrase in the universe is back. John Roberts, thank you, because I finally get to say it again. Stick with the biff. Oh, come on. Neither one of you did it with me. You two are no fun.
Oh, no, we're plenty of fun. The show is having plenty of fun.
Whatever.
Wow.
Anyway, Greg Biffle won a truck race. Woo!
Yay.
Yes.
You're not excited? Shame on you.
I was a Greg Biffle fan growing up, which goes to show you how old he really is.
Randy gets it.
And I do get it. And I was excited to see him win, but Leave it to the young kids, man. Leave it to Ankrum would have won that race.
He would have.
I feel like.
I guess. Look, I'm happy for Greg to come back and get a win. I think it's cool that a veteran driver comes back out of retirement, air quotes, because he never really meant to retire. Just nobody would give him a ride that was competitive. But, I'm happy for him. But he drove Kyle Busch's truck. Like, it's just, for me, I think I would have enjoyed this more.
But he won on fuel mileage.
Well, see, that too. I mean, I think I would have enjoyed this more if it weren't the first race in the Triple Truck Challenge, and because now there's nobody that can win the actual triple. Yeah,
I know, it's frustrating.
At least he didn't dominate the race, though.
He did
That's
not dominate the race.
That's the one good thing is that he only won. He only led a few laps and then won the race. It wasn't like
we're going to talk more about that on the other side of this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses. Because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Todd Gilland, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Come on, Chris, you're better than this. No, if I taught you nothing, you turn us on before the re-entry stops.
We lost the locomotive in the first segment. We lost the caboose just then.
I'm telling
the
you,
whole train is gone.
If he's not careful, I'm going to fire him in a minute.
What Chris is doing is he's really painting a word picture of what goes on in all of our heads. It's a train that constantly jumps the track.
Complete silence.
Yeah,
that works too. See, Jeff Gordon's car even turned the wrong way. He's about ready to leave too.
But we do have we do have a nice segment to talk.
We do
more about trucks.
Trucks. But first,
trains,
welcome back. Yeah. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. I'll get the plug-in right. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller, and maybe if I don't fire him at the end of this
Our
segment,
former
Chris
producer,
Murdoch. Yeah. Maybe. If he's lucky.
He looks very worried.
No, he's just going to throw something at me in a minute. He's nodding.
Yeah.
All right. Back to trucks and the fact that Greg Biffle won a truck race. Now, to be clear, there's a couple of cool things here. The last time Greg Biffle won a truck race, I was barely old enough to really understand what I was watching, to be quite frank. And
you were flipping between Sesame Street and the truck race, weren't you?
Well, I was slightly
Would
older
it have been
than
like
that.
Thomas the Tank or something by then? I don't know.
Today's show is brought to you by Trains, just so you know.
Yeah.
Ouch. This race, by the way, was also a war of attrition because we did have 32 trucks, which was good. But the problem is we only had 18 of them finish. It was like one thing after another, after another, after another, and I was like,
the one thing we didn't
guys.
talk about during this whole week is the fact those trucks were way out of control. The entire night, every single truck.
They wrecked a lot.
And being a leader sucked.
Yeah.
It
It did not pay to
Part
lead
two.
that race. When the average length of a green flag run in a 167-lap truck race is 7.4 laps, it's not a good night.
See, but I thought it was a great race.
Oh, yeah, it was an exciting
I mean,
race. No doubt.
There were a lot of cautions and there were crashes, and Tyler Ankrum slid halfway to California.
Bowling.
But,
great.
that was, but it was, I thought it was a very competitive race. And when you look at, again, some of the highlights of that race, or performance-wise anyway, obviously Biffle, Matt Crafton had the best race he's had in a very long time. You had guys, Ankrum coming from 4 laps down.
Which, by the way, just to be clear, I'm looking at NASCAR statistics right now. He did indeed get the free pass 4 times in that race.
Yeah. So Tyler really kept himself in good position, and, the team worked well together with pit strategy and all that to allow him to be able to come back and do that. But when you look at, you had Anthony Alfredo, who led a few laps and was running top 3 for a while, ran second for a while, ended up 12th, but that result doesn't really tell the story of how good his truck actually was and what a good job he did. Sheldon Creed had maybe his best performance of the year, finishing in 6th. There were guys in this race that I thought really elevated their year's performance, and again, Chastain comes right out and in his running and led some laps and was running up front. So I think that truck race had a lot of comers and goers. Enfinger had a good run. Ben Rhodes was really fast for a while.
He was.
So there were a lot of comers and goers in that race. Even though there were a lot of cautions, I still thought it was a great race. And you know what? If the trucks were a little out of control, good. That just makes it more fun to watch.
Can I give a couple of calls out here in this race, by the way?
Who did I miss?
Aside from Tyler Ankrum, who was the obvious, coming from 4 laps down to finish 3rd in what is easily his most beautiful drive since he came to the NASCAR
Somebody
National
sponsor
Series.
him, please.
Yes, the fact that he is not able to race this weekend at Iowa, and this is going to sound, I don't mean it to sound this way because I make him sound like a ride buyer, and he's not. Rafael Lasard's a great kid who deserves an opportunity too. But the fact that Tyler Ankrum can finish 3rd from 4 laps down and now doesn't have a ride this weekend because of sponsorship is painful. That breaks my heart.
It really is.
I don't like it.
Yep.
But he's so humble, even still.
He
is. If you watch the
video, the video he put out this week on social.
It showed who Tyler Ankrum is. That's what I'm saying. Somebody please step up and take this kid and let him have what he needs, because he's right on the verge of winning races and running for a championship. And this certainly didn't help him.
Hello, entry list.
What?
Please hold breaking news.
Okay.
And my second statement to that. Thank you, Joe Nemechek.
Okay.
Oh,
Joe Nemechek is keeping Tyler Ankrum's playoff hopes alive. Ankrum's in the 87 this week.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Well, good for you.
God,
good for him.
God bless you, Joe.
Wow,
seriously,
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Good job.
God bless you for that, Joe. Because, I mean, let's be real here. Ankrum, it was a fine drive. The kid has learned a ton. He has shown so much improvement.
Absolutely.
Over the first, half of the regular season here. And this, it's a big deal as far as I'm concerned for him because I think when he gets back in the DGR Crosley truck, he will have a shot to win races.
Well, and I hope that that's soon. I hope that there's going to be some opportunities, and I hope somebody can, because look, we love Joe Nemechek, and I'm not saying his trucks can't win because obviously they have in the past.
He's ran up front
with John Hunter
year.
and Joe ran up front. But DGR Crosley's trucks are really, really fast. And here's the other thing. David Gilliland and Tyler Ankrum have a relationship that goes beyond just, here, pay for my ride, okay? Those guys, the Gillilands and the Ankrums, were quarter midget buddies.
Yes.
Because Todd and Tyler ran together in the quarter midgets. And so there's a real friendship there. For David Gilliland to not put Tyler in a truck this weekend, that's business. That's because it costs money to run these races. So
it is not
for
cheap.
anybody who thinks, well, David should have given him you can't just do that.
You can't
so
give people rides.
Thankfully, Joe Nemechek obviously had enough to go to the track and run and got out of the truck to put Tyler into it.
No.
And that says a whole lot about the respect that Tyler Ankrum has gotten. So that's great. So Tyler
in a
will
short
be
amount of time because this is Tyler's first full year of being in the series, and he's already earned the respect of somebody like Joe Nemechek to say, you know what, you're probably going to be able to do better in this truck than I am, so I'm going to step out, let you step in so you can keep your playoff hopes alive.
Everybody that's watching or listening to this show, go to Tyler Ankrum's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and just follow him and go look at that video that he had yesterday about losing the opportunity with Gilliland and having to step back because he handled that like a trooper.
Was talking like somebody who is 25 or 30 as opposed to somebody who's
not 17 or 18 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So but good to see Tyler back in. That's great. That's good news.
Absolutely. So that excites me. There's 33 trucks on the entry list for the Iowa race this weekend because Daniel Sasnett in a third Rayum Brothers Racing truck. Withdrew.
Okay.
Withdrew. So
withdrew.
Yeah,
okay.
withdrew. So there are 33 trucks for 32 spots. But really fast shout-outs from that race. Corey Roper from 20th to 9th.
Yes, great job for Corey.
Lead lap,
Absolutely.
top 10 finish is awesome. And yet again, he keeps doing Ross Chastain things. We've had 9 truck races this season, and yes, he was the first truck a lap down, but Ross Chastain has finished in the top 10 in 9 truck races this season.
Yep.
The fastest watermelon farmer in NASCAR just keeps doing what
Flying
he does.
farmer.
Absolutely, it's been great. I love it, and you know what? I hope, pray that Ross Chastain wins a race, gets in the top 20, and has a shot to race for a Truck Series championship.
Well, I agree.
Because I believe he can win it too, gosh darn it.
And let's also acknowledge Nice Motorsports while we're at it, can we?
What a huge run they've been on this season in just their third full-time year in the Truck Series for Al Nice and that program to do what they're doing with some of the help they've gotten from GMS. We'll talk
Kyle
a little
Benjamin in the 45 this week.
Yes, 3 trucks on track this week, I think. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schubert helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Olero fireproof underwear, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the staff at HMS is always ready to take the time and help you find the right product for your specific safety needs. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Just stop in to HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a message on Facebook. Tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Cody Connor, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
It's Blues Hour. Oh, Chris, you did it right.
Cody.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Hey, throw him under the train.
Chris's train back on the tracks.
Yes,
now.
it's back on the tracks, and we're back to Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career. Chris, I'm going to buy you dinner later, I promise. But this is, hey, listen.
That's
no,
on record
actually,
now, by the way. That's on recording.
It is on record, so it's okay.
So,
but listen, this is payback for all the times the three of you have thrown me under the bus in the last year.
Oh, we would never.
Yes, you would. Don't even deny it.
We would never do this.
Lies, all lies.
At least we throw you under the bus when you're here.
Right. And there's always somebody to pull you back out.
Yeah.
So we don't just run it back over you.
Yeah.
We always make sure we have an arm so we can pull you back out.
Are we still talking trucks, or are we?
I don't even know what we're talking.
else?
We're talking about trains right now. But
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about trucks for a little bit longer because I've we're now more than halfway through the regular season for the Truck Series and going into a standalone race that's going to be, I think, really important in terms of the overall battle for the championship because where things are at in the driver's standings right now, it's really interesting when you look at it. You've got Austin Hill and Johnny Sauter, who have won their way in. You've got Ross Chastain, who's trying to earn enough points to get back into the top 20, and B, get another win to win his way back in, because when he won the first time, he wasn't eligible for Truck Series points at that juncture. So you've got 6 spots on points right now. Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes, and Harrison Burton. And right now, the battle for the final spot on points is between Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland. But stop and think about this. Brennan Poole has been close to a race win. If Tyler Ankrum manages to win a race somehow between now and the start of the playoffs, if he's got some more races with DGR Crosley before the start of the playoffs.
Can we just dwell on that
Sheldon
for 1 minute?
Creed.
Tyler Ankrum's and Joe Nemechek's truck this weekend at a track that Tyler Ankrum ran really well at in K&N.
In K&N, yeah.
It's a small track. How amazing would that be?
I'll be honest, and I know in our profession we're supposed to be non-biased for the most part, but I'm a sucker for a good story.
Exactly.
And a good guy.
And a good guy, no less. Thank you, Randy. I would probably shed a couple of tears, not even lying, if he managed to pull something off in that 87.
Justice would be served.
I want to see Brennan Poole win too, because Brennan's got a
Oh,
lot of sponsorship issues with On Point Motorsports and then having a full season sponsor.
The problem is if Brennan wins, because they elected to skip a race, Brennan would not be playoff eligible, because if you elect to skip a race, you're not eligible for a waiver.
Oh, wow.
So Brennan wouldn't
When did they skip?
The race, right? Whatever the race was before Charlotte, Kansas, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because
They didn't have sponsorship?
it was partially sponsorship, but it was partially because they were coming off a really big wreck.
Oh,
and
that's true. They didn't have another truck ready to go.
Right, they didn't have another truck ready to go.
That would be a shame.
But well, stop. There's one guy that I'm looking at that if he could ever get a break, he'll win a race and be the cause of great consternation in the Toyota camp. If Sheldon Creed, who's 10th in points right now, ever actually puts it all together and wins one, that would bump Harrison Burton outside of the top 8 for the playoffs, and then you'd have both Kyle Busch Motorsports full-time drivers outside of the playoff grid looking in, neither of which has looked like really even close to winning a race this season. Who would have ever thought that at the beginning of the year, that we would be talking about two immensely talented young drivers in Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland, both of whom potentially being outside the playoffs this year?
Well, this is a source of consternation for me.
Wailing and gnashing of teeth, I believe, is the other phrase.
You know what? I can't blame. On one hand, I can't blame Kyle Busch for saying, look, we put winning trucks on the track. The drivers should learn to drive them. But on the other hand, Kyle's the same driver who also made the statement not long ago, it's not my job to teach somebody how to take my job. And, dear Kyle, it actually is. If you're going to take more of somebody's money than anybody else in the truck series for an opportunity to race your truck, and I'm not denying value, market value, whatever, the trucks are winning trucks, but I do think that it is the responsibility. The part of why you drive for Kyle Busch is to learn from Kyle Busch.
Right.
And I'm not saying Kyle doesn't, work with the drivers, but I feel like these are two drivers that really, really need, number one, they need confidence. They don't need their boss out there in the media bashing them, you idiot. They need somebody who's going to encourage them.
Yes.
Okay. And so Harrison Burton, to me, deserves better, because I feel like even though Harrison was prepared, he was truck eligible or whatever, okay, this is his first full season of the series, and I feel like Harrison has had less overall time, like in the ARCA series or whatever, than some others have. So I think the second year with Harrison will produce better results. Now, Todd is in a bit of a different situation. He had a great year last year, and I feel like this year his performance has fallen off. They changed crew chiefs. He looked better, led some laps, but I don't want to say it was the crew chief. Maybe it was a chemistry thing, but I really feel like, again, Todd needs a win. Todd gets a win. I think Todd's whole outlook, everything's better when you finally crack victory lane.
Amen.
That's true. So I think Kyle needs to just, for at least 10 minutes, can you just stop bashing your guys and stop, making it sound like they don't know what in the world they're doing, because, they'll start believing you after a while.
Well, it's hard to teach somebody something when you're kicking their ass on the racetrack.
Right.
I mean, when you're lapping them,
too.
it's hard to.
I think that's the other piece, is it's demoralizing.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
How many interviews have you heard from both Harrison and from Todd where they feel dejected that their boss is out there whooping their butt every single week and they can't even crack the top 10 at the beginning of the season, and then Kyle goes out and hires somebody who is twice they're both of their ages combined, and puts him in his best truck in the fleet, and he goes out and whoops their butt.
And this is why
So,
I didn't flip out when Greg Biffle won. I expected him to run for the win at Texas. It's not a hard track to drive a truck at.
Why don't you put Harrison or Todd in the 51 and let them go
Let's
win a
see
race
what
and then see what they can do
car,
in the best truck in the fleet?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, Kyle may say, well, all my trucks are the same.
No, they're not.
And maybe they are. But
don't
at the end of the day, you're not going to get results out of somebody by verbally beating the crap out of them all the time, especially in the media. No. I mean, I don't understand what Kyle thinks he's accomplishing other than being Kyle.
How are your drivers going to respect you if you don't respect them?
Right. I mean, if you have, go behind closed doors and have a talk with them.
Right.
If you've done it, you need to do it again, do it again. Don't bash them in the media. That's stupid.
Especially when you have two guys who are second-generation drivers. I mean,
exactly.
It's not like you went out and got rookie drivers who've never been on the track before. These guys grew up in the sport.
And who've never won anything before.
Right. Exactly.
They both won at the ARCA level.
Right.
They're struggling at the truck level. But guess what? There's more competitive trucks this year, too.
Yes.
For years, this was KBM and then everybody else. Not the same this year.
Exactly.
The new motor has changed a lot of things in that series.
I mean, especially when you have guys like Brennan Poole, guys who run for, Corey Roper. He's right. I mean, Corey has his own team, and he's going out and selling his own money, his own sponsorship to put those cars on those trucks on the track and finishing in the top 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, I was wrong earlier when I thought there were 3 niche trucks this weekend. There's only 2 niche trucks this weekend, as Tom pointed out to
only
me during
2
the
nieces?
break.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain is in the 44 this week, and Kyle Benjamin is in the 45, taking a break from his NASCAR Tour Modified schedule to come run a truck race for Al Neese, which is kind of cool.
He's got several lined up.
He does.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, maybe 4 or 5 more.
I think it was 6 or 7 total.
Yeah.
So, that would be right.
So he's got at least a handful more.
Yeah.
Riley Herbst is in the 46 truck this week for KBM, and Chandler Smith is
I was just going to say,
his start in the 51 truck this weekend.
Well, there you go. There's the best truck on the fleet. So we'll see what he can do with the
51
truck.
But hang on a second. You can put wraps on any. And again,
that's
I'm
true.
not trying to start anything. I'm just saying it doesn't.
We don't know if that's the truck, the truck that
Right.
Kyle runs, but I mean, it's the same number.
In theory, they should all be equal, but obviously,
should.
It's tough because I do understand the economics of this too. If you're bringing X amount of dollars and somebody else bringing Y and their Y is more than whatever, but yeah, just don't assume that just because the guy's a 51 on it that it's the same exact truck.
Right.
We'll see when he wins the race.
Well,
prove you right.
look at Chandler's a very talented kid.
Yes,
I know,
he's very quick.
He should be competitive.
I'm not going to be surprised. Chandler's one who he's a very fast learner as well. He's a quick study, and I believe he'll do just fine. In the category of who, by the way, I'm injecting the 29th entry on the Truck Series entry list, driving truck number 74.
That would be Mike Harmon's truck.
No, it's not listed as Mike Harmon's truck. Lou Goss.
Sounds like a WWE wrestler, doesn't it? No offense, Lou.
That's Lou Cabry.
Well, that too, but Lou Goss sounds like a wrestling name.
Except Lou Cabry actually was a wrestler.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So was Lou Albano.
So who actually does own the 74 truck then? If it's not Mike Harmon's truck, I mean,
well, this week Lou Goss.
So I can just go buy a truck and put it in the field.
I guess.
Put a number on it.
By the way,
I want 51 if I get to pick.
By the way, Lou Goss is 32 years old from Green Bay, Wisconsin. FYI, we're taking a break. We're back after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Lewis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop into HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a Facebook message and tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Zane Smith, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller, Chris Murdoch is behind there punching buttons and keeping the.
He's earned his job back tonight.
He's earned his job
and
back in the last couple
dinner,
of segments.
apparently.
Yeah. I'll get him dinner later. Anyway, this is our traditional lightning round segment, and yes, there are going to be some quick hitting points during this lightning round, but I have a quick hitting rant first that we're going to get to that we mentioned earlier, and I just hadn't had a chance to get it to yet. Chris, I love you.
And in this corner,
we have me.
Wearing the green plaid shirt.
Yep, is Seelman. And Seelman has
you just go by one name?
Huh?
You just go by one
That's
name?
all he needs.
That's all
like
I need
Cher.
right now.
All you got to do is say Seelman. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
He'll probably come out to a Cher song now.
No.
Never mind.
Anyway.
Pocket turn back time.
Here's the deal. And here's my 2 cents on Hailie Deegan. Saturday's NASCAR K&N Pro Series West race at Colorado National, for me, was an illustration of the word farce.
Farce?
Yes.
Today's
the last
word
two
of the day.
is farce. More accurately, the final restart was a farce. You know why? I'm getting sick and tired of the same narrative over and over and over again. Yes, I said it 3 times because that's what we've got. 3 NASCAR K&N Pro Series West races in which Hailie Deegan, on the last lap of the race, has either A, moved, or B, spun out the leader to win all 3 of those races. Now, am I defending what... I'm not done, Chris.
Well, you're already getting heckled from the audience. It's Hailie Deegan's fan club.
You know what?
All 3 of them.
No, there were more than 3 if you saw the video of her signing autographs after the race.
Yes, there were.
Anyway, here's my point. Here's the bottom line. Am I defending what Derek Kraus did by dooring her 4 wide on the final restart? No, not really, because I didn't necessarily like that either. But what I am getting mad about is the fact that 3 is a pattern. we have a pattern of Hailie Deegan not showing that she can win by racing somebody clean. She's won 3 races. All of them have involved contact with the leader on the last lap of the race. That bothers me. NASCAR's promoting her. Racer.com, I think Kelly Crandall called her Hailie the headliner this week. But as far as I'm concerned, she's making headlines for the wrong reasons.
Headbanger.
Hailie, love you. I want to see you be a good thing for this sport. But I also want to see you win a race cleanly. Do that, and I might be impressed. It doesn't take talent to wreck the leader on the last lap of the race, teammate or otherwise. And by the way, don't wreck your teammate. If Roger Penske's taught one lesson in that class over the years, don't wreck your teammate. I'm done.
And if she thinks she's going to move up to the Truck Series and drive one of Kyle's trucks, you know how he feels about wrecking teammates because you saw how he acted when Noah dumped Todd.
Thank you.
He'll put her through the fence. Not just into the fence.
See, this is my problem with this. First of all, I agree with you in a big picture sense. You've won 3 races, all of them been by the bumper. Regardless of whether you feel that it was justified or not justified as far as retaliation, it still doesn't look good.
Right.
It just isn't.
Especially when it's your teammate.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. Okay, look, if somebody doors you, door them back or move them out of the way. That's not what Hailie did. It was almost as if Hailie threw a fit and just drove straight into the corner and cleaned his clock.
Well, pretty much.
Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano.
And her quote on her video was, if you take a swing at me, I'm going to take a swing back. Well, Derek Krause took a swing at you. You threw a haymaker at him.
Yeah, it knocked his butt out. I mean, that's
you.
basically, I've always, and I've said on these shows multiple times, it's uneven payback.
Yes.
Okay. You don't take somebody who doors you to make it 4 wide and think that's a license to go in and spin them out. Okay, if you're going to go in and door him back, or you're going to just root him out of the way, she didn't root him. She just flat dumped him. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't care. Look, Kelly Crandall, love you. You're a great writer. Okay? But I have 2 issues with this. One, the core media for NASCAR pays very little attention to K&N West when anybody else wins other than Hailie Deegan.
Correct.
What disappoints me is she's getting the same over promotion that Danica Patrick got, and we all see how that turned out.
She's sitting at home taking notes right now. She's thinking, gee, if I'd have done that, I'd have probably been able to win a couple of K&N races in my career.
I like Hailie, and I love her passion, and I believe that Hailie really wants to learn her craft, master her craft, and do this right. I don't believe that Hailie is one of these that's taking advantage of, being a female or whatever. I think Hailie's legit. But you got to think about big picture here. And I'm just not a big fan of, and this is something that it's entirely too common in stock cars. If you can't win a race without bumping the leader out of the way, you're not much of a racer. And we see this every time. We've seen it in the Cars Tour. We've seen it in the Pass Tour. We've seen it at the late model level. It's always the same thing. The last restart, somebody moves somebody to win. Yeah. When did we stop actually learning how to properly pass cars in these stock car divisions?
I'm waiting for the moment when Jagger Jones gets tired of her and just sends her straight into the wall because she's had more contact with him than anybody.
Well, but the problem is Jagger's no count. He's had a lot of contact with a lot of other cars too.
Well, there's a respect thing here too, because she's right now in the K&N series, and she's ruffling feathers and doing that kind of stuff. So, like Chris said, she's gonna eventually get moved up into trucks and ARCA, and she runs the market races now, but trucks and Xfinity and Cup. She's not going to have any respect when she gets there because these drivers already see what she's doing in the K&N series. If she thinks she's going to be able to try that same thing in trucks and Xfinity, she will find out in a hurry that is not how things work.
Right. I got news for you.
You'll be gone in a heartbeat.
Well, and again, we must make the point, and I'm not trying to
in any way be negative, but it's an observation and it's fact. She's in the best equipment in that series by
You don't
far.
need to do that.
When you get up to the next few levels, everybody's got great equipment just like you. It isn't going to be as easy for her to she's going to have to learn to not depend on that bump and run.
And I see the writing on the wall here, because when she moves up to these next levels and she sees that these people aren't going to put up with her moving them out of the way, and she's going to get dumped a couple times, her tune's going to change. Well, what? We can't be out here dumping people. It's happened many times before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, look, my position is I think Hailie is an excellent talent. I think she's got a lot of potential. I think she's as much the real deal as any other female currently in this sport. And I think that she needs somebody to sit her down and just remind her that this should be an occasional thing. I feel like she's almost overcompensating, like trying to prove the point that I'm just one of the boys.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but not every race.
Right.
Well, she's got the off-road truck mentality that she can just send it in there and send somebody, and everything will work out.
Not going to work on the bigger.
She hasn't hopped over another car yet, so
it's not going to work on the bigger track.
Right.
She's going to, she'll have
Right.
a moment when she realizes that's not going to work.
Right.
But
I just want to make a quick point here, completely unrelated to the Hailie Deegan thing, actually. Just I talked about it off the top of the show, but being able to go up and do Indiana Midget Week last week, hitting 5 tracks in 5 nights. Number one,
Fun.
that was fun.
Of course.
Number two, thank you, Levi Jones, for kind of just bringing me into the USAC family for the week and giving me letting me see from the back seat how some of that stuff runs, because it's absolutely insane to be at 5 different tracks in 5 days and do everything that they do to make that all work, and being able to see it from kind of that first-hand perspective. It was a lot of work. I enjoyed every minute of it. Congratulations go out to Logan Seavey and Keith Coons Motorsports, who got their ship back on the right foot by winning the Indiana Midget Week Championship. And props to Tanner Thorson, who won the Thursday night show at Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville, Indiana. First win in his 3rd race back from those serious injuries he sustained in March. That, to me, was the story of the week. It was so cool to see Tanner just kind of explode with emotion when that win happened, and just really refreshing. I was very, very glad to have witnessed that, and just glad to see Tanner okay and competitive again.
100%.
Quick buy or sell here. Buying or selling that when we get to the Truck Series playoffs, at least one of the KBM drivers will be represented for the Drivers' Championship?
Boy. You know what? I'm going to be optimistic and say I'm buying it, and I'm going to say it's going to be Harrison Burton.
Randy?
No, until I see more, I'm selling it, because I don't believe there's far other guys right now that are in a much better position than they are right now to make the playoffs.
Christopher.
Is there a possibility of Greg Biffle coming back and pulling a Ross Chastain and running for the rest of the season?
No, that's not how that works.
That's not without a waiver.
Then no.
He's not getting that.
I'm in Tom's camp, which is surprising because you and I don't always agree on things, but I think Harrison Burton does make the playoffs and represents KBM with the 18
I think
truck.
he does
He's
too.
been consistent.
I think he's just consistent enough to do it. I don't think he's going to get a win necessarily, but I think he's going to put himself in there.
On the same vein, are you buying or selling Ross Chastain makes the playoffs?
Oh, I'm absolutely buying it. I believe Ross gets a win and puts himself in, and I believe he also gets to Homestead.
Whoa, big words, Randy.
Wow, that's hard to top. But yeah, I buy it all day long. I believe he'll easily make the top 20 just based on the number of drivers ahead of him that don't run every race.
Right.
And the fact that he'll get a win. I mean, he already won Kansas, so he's just got to get another win. And there's too many tracks coming up that are just like Kansas. So
Chris.
Oh, I said it on Monday, and I've said it all throughout the week. He's going to win this weekend because he's got that short track driving mentality, and he's going to get that win at Iowa.
So Chris says he's going to win Iowa. I am not quite that confident that he's going to win Iowa. I think it's going to take a little bit longer, but I say he wins before the month is out, and I say it's going to happen at Chicagoland,
Well,
next
that's
mile and a half
again.
on
That's
the schedule.
A very good possibility.
Yep. So next thing, the Cup Series is off this weekend, but we go to Sonoma after that. Are you buying or selling that somebody aside from JGR or Penske wins at Sonoma?
Oh, I'm buying it. Yeah, 100% I'm buying it. I'm also buying the fact that A.J. Allmendinger is running around from shop to shop begging for an opportunity to go race a cup car there. He will be in the Colleague Racing car, I think, the Xfinity race there. But
there is no Xfinity race at Sonoma. Try again. Nope, it's Cup and K&N.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Xfinity's actually
I know he's running some road course for them. I just was thinking Sonoma, but I guess it's probably
Xfinity
Road
Atlanta
I think is the
later.
one right now that they're doing.
Road America.
Road America, I mean.
Yeah, that.
yeah, okay.
Anyway, Randy, buying or selling somebody other than JGR or Penske?
I'm buying it. It's going to be Alex Bowman.
Ooh, okay, cool.
I was actually thinking Kurt Busch. But.
Chris.
William Byron.
Wow.
Who?
10-4.
That wasn't where I was going.
No,
but
no.
But you could be right.
I'm buying it. I'll even tell you who it's going to be. It's a home state driver who's over for the year, Kevin Harvick.
Well, there again. Yeah, exactly.
Who's been very good there.
With this new package, keep your eye out for Michael McDowell.
Ooh, yeah. You know
Wait,
what? I'm not. Again, the road course expertise. I actually think he could be right, especially if we can work pit strategy well, and if he gets a good race car, I think McDowell can pull that off. Yep.
There's always one person usually in the top 16 in points, and you're like, how did they get in there?
Well, and remember that track runs like a short track.
Well, by the way, keep in mind, too, we're running the different layout. The full layout this year with Sonoma because they added the carousel back for the NASCAR race. We're going to step aside. Final thoughts coming up right after this.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
We have just under 120 seconds in this final segment, and I'm going to take about 10 of them, to wish a happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. I get to spend this weekend with my father, hopefully, because we have a must-see sprint car race up at Lake Erie Speedway in Pennsylvania, so that's going to be good. I also want to note, by the way, that when we get to next weekend's race at Sonoma, it will be the final race that we have NASCAR Hall of Famer Darrell Waltrip in the broadcast booth.
Sad day.
What a way to go out, though, in the Napa Valley.
Yeah, wine country. Hey, you know the party's going to be good after that one's over for sure. Gosh, I think when we get to next week's show is because we don't have time to do it here for sure. Start coming up with a favorite DW memory. I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and warn you that one's coming across the table a week in advance.
Several.
Well, if you have several, that's fine. We can certainly talk about that.
Show.
I was going to say, we can figure it out. We got time. Randy's right.
Exactly.
I'm just excited for Iowa this weekend. No cuppers. It's all about the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, and I'm going to enjoy keeping tabs on that, hopefully, from the confines of Pennsylvania.
Race number 2 of the Triple Truck Challenge.
It is race number 2, and there's 50,000 more reasons for one driver to smile at the end of it, which is what's really exciting. Thank you, by the way, to mycomputercareer.edu, HMS Motorsport, and strutmasters.com for what they do to make this show possible. Good grief. We got through 2 hours and nobody killed anybody and we all survived.
We lost a couple of trains, though.
Yeah, it's okay. So for Tom Baker, Randy Miller, Chris Murdoch behind the glass in the tech shed, I'm Jacob Seelman. Keep it off the wall, folks, and if you're headed to a racetrack somewhere, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. You can be an IT professional in as little as 4 months. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation test today. Motorsports Madness, a Race Chaser media production. For more exciting and passionate motorsports content, follow Race Chaser Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and visit racechasermedia.com. The opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, affiliates, or marketing partners of Race Chaser Media. No part of this show may be reproduced in any manner without the expressed written consent of Race Chaser Media. Thank you for listening.